going on. Yeah. The cooking class, nutrition class is so good, but we always need to prioritize the people who are right now receiving the afternoon.
Welcome.
Welcome, everybody. Make sure you get your recipes. Well, you don't have to, but they are there.
There are. I know some of you already have masks. If you want, there's a box of masks there
masks.
as well.
Yeah, there are masks. We'll put them on after because we're going to do that. Yeah. And I like the washroom. Oh, good. And I'll bring one out to you. Here you go. Okay. Have a moment for the washroom or not?
Yeah, you're good.
Can I get some water?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Scotch tape. Yes, Scotch tape. Wow. That's the worst.
Is this Scotch tape? I don't even know the name of it.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
Does that work? Does that help?
I hope so.
If it doesn't, remind me after the class, and I'll go see if I can find something more heavy.
That is Scotch tape.
That is Scotch. Okay, all right.
Well, it is Scotch tape.
It's a little.
I really need that tape.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find for you.
It is the, I'm not copying. This is for the Scotch tape.
Sorry?
No, okay, I'm not copying.
The water. The water.
No, I just had water, not.
No, I understand, but still when you're up.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, we did the notes with the recipes. The camera's up. Oh, my remote. Did you forget?
Nope, I've got your remote. Welcome, hello, welcome. Come on in, come on in.
Hi.
Sorry?
Busy today.
It's good. It's your last class.
Yeah.
And I know we already have a few people watching online. We're going to get started in a couple minutes, so just hang on tight. We'll start shortly. Everyone else, come on in. There's recipes here.
I think I have to change my glasses.
Glasses too.
You can change mine while you're
I
at
prefer these, but but I can see with these. Or see better with these. There are masks if you want to wear one. I'll have to take these off before I put these on. So cool the weather cooperated with us today, huh?
It's so mild.
I know.
But I still
No.
don't have my winter boots.
Yeah, I know.
Just-
My thickest scarf possible.
Yeah.
They mentioned
You just never
rain,
know.
but I think the rain is later tonight. I'm doing the weather report. I'm turning it to my father.
Oh, nice. Hey, that's an important job. That's an important job.
Always watch the Weather Channel. Help yourself to water. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Just saying
Ready?
ready, so I can check and see if I have the chat feed turned on. Yes, you do have the chat feed turned on. Jay. Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
Anyone watching online, you can ask questions through the chat. And hello.
Hi. Have we started?
Yeah, we're kind of started. Half started.
So you have this online too?
Yes.
Every the same day?
So the third Thursday
Okay.
every month. So we do it once a month on the third Thursday. We do it in person and live. So the little camera here is showing Daniela and myself. Actually, Daniela scooch over a little bit.
So it is live broadcasting.
So this is live broadcasting.
And how you can access that in the YouTube?
So yeah, there's a YouTube channel on the front page. Yeah,
Or is the kitchen?
near the bottom.
Okay.
Near the bottom is right at the bottom corner is the YouTube channel.
Okay.
And then come on in, they grab a recipe. And then the middle, elixirkitchen.ca, has all of our recipes on there. Actually, this is a good time for a PSA. So, has anyone accessed our recipes before on our website? Yeah. Okay. We have most recently, within a week or 2 weeks, completely moved all of those recipes to a different area. So it's a different website. If you still use the elixirkitchen.ca, you will still get redirected there. So still use that URL, but it lives on the UHN site now under the Princess Margaret section. So they just moved everything over for us. Everything still, it looks a little bit different, but all the recipes are still there. It's categorized the same way by side effect and by meal type, so you can still access.
Quite a feat of work by Jeremy.
No, honestly,
No,
it was Vince and his tech
Vince and
team.
his
We
team?
have an amazing
Okay.
team that does
So
all that stuff. So.
shout out to Vince.
Yes, Vince and Emily and Aaron, and there's more people, but yeah, they have an amazing team.
Great.
Welcome, buddy. All right, we're gonna get started. Thanks for joining us today. Welcome to our Elixir Kitchen Community Connections class, our last class of 2025. My name is Jeremy Capone. I'm a wellness chef for cancer rehab and survivorship with Princess Margaret, and amazing registered dietitian, our amazing registered dietitian, Daniela Fellini. Hello.
Thank you. Hello. So we'll just get into our topic today. Food, comfort, and joy. Healthy holiday meals on a budget. So the holiday season, time of warmth, enjoying moments with loved ones, enjoying good food. However, it can also be busy, can be quite expensive. Just saw lots of reports about that on the news yesterday. And for some who are facing cancer and treatment, it can also be quite overwhelming. It can be quite isolating. And so what we want to share is that eating well doesn't necessarily have to be time consuming, doesn't necessarily have to be costly, and choosing some ways you can, that we'll talk about today, but I'll just mention off the top, is it's okay to choose generic brands instead of specialty brands. They're just as good and you're saving money. You can use canned foods and recipes, and I think we are using some today. And planning meals ahead. So sometimes that's hard for us to do, but Jeremy has great tips on how we can all do that. And I was actually in my head on my way down thinking about, okay, what can I do ahead? What can I do ahead? So I'm planning. And so, yeah, so we'll share some tips, and I think we'll get started with our first recipe. It's Super Greens mac and cheese. And it's creamy, it's colorful, and comforting. It's a make-ahead dish, of course, and it's perfect for the busy holidays. It's also great if you're experiencing chewing difficulties from the treatment that you're receiving, or for other reasons. What I love about it is that it's versatile, along with being budget-friendly. So you can choose whatever cheese, you can choose whatever greens, whatever is on sale, fresh or frozen, whatever you have in your freezer, right? And with so many ways of customizing this dish, you can create a satisfying meal that meets your needs while keeping things simple during the holiday season. And now I'll turn it over to Jeremy.
Thank you. Yes, this is, I think Danielle and I always try to keep our recipes very accessible, and budget is a big point for when we do develop the recipes. Oftentimes, most of the time, we do a cost per serving, so you can we always try to keep that in mind. For today, though, around the holidays, it's sort of that we're trying to want that balance, right?
Yeah.
If we're celebrating with family and friends, or just doing something for ourselves and we want to do something a little extra special, but we want, budget is a top of mind. How can we, achieve that balance? So it's not just a regular mac and cheese. We're going to jazz it up a little bit, as they say.
Zhuzh it up.
Zhuzh it up. But still using some of those more budget-forward ingredients. So achieving taste for sure, that sort of budget line, and then nutrition. So it's sort of that balance.
Yeah, still getting your good protein to help with healing, muscle development.
Absolutely. So we're making this cream of greens, mac and cheese. You can use any greens that you want. There's so many varietals. You can go for kale, you can go for chard, you can go for collards, you can go for any greens that you do like. Looking for more of those budget-friendly options, frozen is your best friend. We love using frozen. We talk endlessly about using frozen. Nutritionally, there's no compromise.
There's no compromise. I think there was a big stigma in the past, right? Like, well, you know my age because I'm gray. So, but many, like let's say 40 years ago, right? It was like, oh, we don't use frozen. It's a lazy way, right? We use always fresh. But the flash freezing of vegetables at the point of picking them maintains lots in the nutrition. And it actually may have more nutrition than something that has traveled by truck, let's say, a distance, and then, if you're like me, sat in your fridge for another week before you used it, right? So having frozen vegetables and fruit in your pantry, but in your freezer.
Which we call our pantry.
We call it pantry sometimes. Is a great idea. It's economical. It makes sure you're getting the fruits and vegetables that we encourage people to eat. And what else? It's economical.
It's from a
convenient.
prep point of view. It's probably the easiest thing you can do. It's already chopped, washed. All that work is already done for you. For today, we're using frozen spinach and frozen peas. Again, these are like staples that I think we've had for a very long time. You can use the blocked spinach. You can use, which is even a little bit more economical than the already kind of loose frozen spinach. So whatever you like, whatever you have. If you have a block in your freezer from like a long time ago, maybe check that it's not freezer burn. But if it isn't, then maybe it's something you
And
can
how would
use
you
as
check
well.
if it was freezer burn?
Well, if it's starting to look like a giant snow person inside, then maybe. Yeah, all right, so we have some peas, frozen peas, and frozen spinach. I'm going to add about a couple cups of the frozen spinach and about a half a cup of the frozen peas. I have a few leaves of parsley, or not parsley, I have a few leaves of basil in here. But this is an easy way, like if you have some extra fresh herbs lying around, fresh or frozen, that you want to use up, because it's always hard to use up that full bunch. This is an easy way to kind of sneak in a little bit of extra flavor too. So I'm just throwing it into some boiling water, just lightly salted, so that we're seasoning it at that point. And we want to just gently cook this for like 60 to 90 seconds, not long at all. I just want to sort of soften it up, give it that light blanch. I don't want to overcook it. Those peas that I'm adding in there are going to be one of the main thickeners for this sauce. Okay, so I don't want a loose sauce. I want to have a nice thick sauce to coat my pasta or my grains or whatever I'm using. And so those peas, because of the starch of those peas, it's going to really do a great job at sort of thickening up the sauce. If you don't have green peas, you can even use like half a can of like white cannellini beans or something that again is convenient, but it's going to achieve what we're looking for.
And you're bumping up the protein by using, the green peas or the cannellini beans or any kind of dried green bean.
Yeah, the spoon is trying to fly
Not
out the pot.
cooperating.
No.
It's not cooperating.
All right, so about 90 seconds on the pot here. We're going to blend this all in blender, stand mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, those hand blenders work really, really well. Just transfer it into like a taller, pot or a taller sort of cup or something that would fit the greens, and then you can just use the hand blender to blend it that way. But we're going to start adding some flavors to this while that is boiling. all in all, from the point of starting the recipe to throwing it into the oven, we're looking at like 10 to 15 minutes tops. Yeah, so it shouldn't take too long. All right, so for flavors, this is where you can get really fun with it. You can add whatever you like. If you like a little bit of heat, you can add some chili. I'm adding some garlic powder. Some of those dry herbs and dry spices seem to be probably more accessible. You probably have them in your pantry. You may need to refresh it from time to time, but if you want to use fresh garlic, you can do that as well. So I'm going for like 2 teaspoons, maybe more.
His measurements down.
Yeah.
Well, he can add it. I have my teaspoons. And
Yeah, you can
measure cups.
whatever you feel comfortable, for sure. A little bit of garlic powder. We're gonna add some mustard to this, which seems odd, but in the mac and cheese in the background, I think it just works really, really well. If you want a little bit more heat, you can use like one of those English mustards or a Dijon mustard or something like that. Someone finished off my Dijon mustard, so we're going with regular old yellow mustard.
Not me.
Which is
I
fine.
know you looked at me, but not me.
Yellow's taking all my
Dipping
Dijon.
into the Dijon.
All right, and yellow mustard is fine too. It's going to achieve the same purpose, and I know it sounds very weird, but just like trust me here, it's going to work really, really well. And then any other seasonings you want. We're going to add maybe a small pinch of salt. We can do that now. I don't need to add too much because I've salted my water for my spinach. Just a little pinch, even a little black pepper. Good.
I'm looking for my remote. It's my remote.
I just stole Daniela's remote. She
There
gets a
it
little
comes over
remote
there.
happy sometimes.
You let me know.
And then to add some creaminess, in the recipe I put milk or cream, which sometimes you would find to give it a nice creaminess to the dish. Something that might add a little bit more of that richness to it. And it depends. Like this is like not for everyone. I'm adding a little bit of goat cheese to this. Not a big fan of goat cheese. Obviously, do not add the goat cheese. Go with like something a little bit lighter, like a milk or cream. You don't need too much. That's going to help to create this really nice sort of rich sauce. The goat cheese is just it's December and it's cold, and sometimes we need some goat cheese. All right, so just a little bit. You don't need too
And
much.
the goat cheese, the milk, or the cream adds protein. If you need more calories, you may want to opt more for the cream or the higher fat goat cheese too.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then we're adding that spinach and those green peas directly in here. I'm using a slotted spoon. If I didn't have the green peas kind of floated around, you can use tongs, but trying to grab green peas with tongs would probably take you a day. So we'll do our best with the slotted spoon. And if I get a little bit of the water in there, that's fine. We're actually going to add a little bit later anyways. So get most of it out. And then you can start in that same water that I cooked the peas and the spinach in is where I'm going to cook the pasta. Okay?
Don't waste it.
Don't wait. Just, yeah. That way you don't have to refill it, bring it back up to a boil. This is already nice and hot. I can just put that back on high and then cook my pasta. You can use whatever type of pasta you want. Typically for mac and cheese, it is a shorter pasta. Never tried it with like a long noodle. Would probably be interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. That
Sure.
might be hard to.
Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be a little
It'll
messy.
be a little messy.
This is orecchiette pasta, which do you know what orecchiette means?
I know, but does anybody else know?
No.
Yes, very good.
I see
See?
someone pointing to their ears.
Little,
It's like little ears.
little ears.
Yeah, little ears. But you can use like any sort of pasta would work for this. The only rule I would say is cook it about 4 minutes less than what it says on the instructions. Okay? Because we're finishing it in the oven, if I cook it to its full cooking directions now, it's going to just get soft and mushy as it cooks in the oven. Okay? So like 4 to 5 minutes less, and it should have still quite a bit of bite to it if you tried it. And then that's when we'll drain it. Okay, we'll pull it. Before we strain everything though, save some of that pasta water, that cooking water. This is very, very important, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, this is a starchy water. This is the starch from coming off of the pasta. And if you've ever followed like a traditional mac and cheese recipe, there is something called a roux in it. Has anyone heard of that before? A roux, okay. So that is like your fat, which is usually butter, you use oil, flour, and then a liquid of some sort, and it's usually dairy. Okay, so milk, butter, and flour, and you make this sort of starchy sauce together. And the reason why you make that for a mac and cheese is that you can melt your grated cheese very evenly and consistently in it. So you're making a cheese sauce, right? And that way it doesn't curdle and break on you as you bake it in the oven, okay? I'm skipping that step. And because I'm skipping that step, I need to get that starch from somewhere. And so that's why I'm using the pasta water here, okay? How much I use is going to depend on, I might spill it on there, so I'm just going to move in.
Okay.
How much I use, it depends on how much spinach and stuff I have. So I'll add a little bit now, and then we'll see where it needs to go. So I'm going to add about a cup or so. If it's still really chunky, then I can use a little bit more. I want it to be nice and smooth. And then we'll blend. Loud.
And we don't have to use that.
I want to make sure that it breaks down, touch the teeth. Okay, so that's nice and smooth.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. At this point, you can taste it and adjust for seasoning. But when you have, yeah, it's going to be hot. Can we get a shot too?
Oh, you want a shot?
Director?
Shot too? Okay.
Danielle is not only an amazing dietitian, she's a great cinematographer as well. So you can kind of see here this really nice sort of creamy. Actually, I'll pour it into the already cooked pasta. That's cooked ahead of time.
Beautiful.
But we're going to pour it on top. So like that really, really vibrant green. And so this is what sort of changes it from like a regular mac and cheese to something that
Elevate.
will catch the eyes,
Yeah.
especially if you bring it
We could call it Grinchy mac and cheese.
grinchy mac and cheese.
Grinchy mac and cheese, yeah.
Now, do not be afraid to add a little bit of extra. This might look a little soupy. Because I've undercooked the pasta, as it bakes in the oven, it's going to absorb all of that liquid. It's going to suck it in. So a little bit extra is actually okay.
I don't know if you can smell it yet. It has an interesting smell. I think it might be the Dijon, right?
Why didn't I
No?
Dijon?
We don't want
Some of
not Dijon, but the mustard.
the regular mustard.
Just the regular mustard, yeah.
All right, so a little mix there, so you can see super nice and green. This is kind of like nice even on its own, but we're gonna make it super mac and cheesy. So whatever baking dish, casserole pan, whatever you want to bake it in. This might be to actually we're gonna switch it up.
Whoa, okay.
This is to bake. We're gonna,
Okay.
just because I made a smaller portion for the demo. We're gonna use our parchments. I know we have some
We
parchment
knew that was
pans
coming,
here.
right? We knew that was coming.
All right, so a little trick. I don't want to be scraping and soaking this pan forever afterwards. Take a piece of parchment, cut it about the size of a pan, and then I'm gonna run it under a little bit of water and punch it up.
Oh.
Gives you like a little wad. Did I get an O? So
Yeah, you got an O.
That's why I always do this, because there's always someone that hasn't seen it. And it makes
Do it every
Oh,
hour.
yeah. I know, it's fun. It's fun.
So now because I crunch it up and run it under water, it's really soft and malleable. So it'll tuck in nice and evenly into that pan. You're making my day. This is making me so happy. All right, we're going to pour that pasta in here. Now I'm using like an extra bowl here. Just use the same pot that you cooked everything in. Stir it. Don't make extra mess for yourself. All right.
There we go.
Okay, at this point, like it's going to be, because of that, we only added a little bit of goat cheese, so it's going to be nice and cheesy at this point. If I did want to add a little bit more,
Nice.
then here's where we can add a little bit more.
So what is this? This is cheddar or
It's-
Parmesan?
You can add Parmesan, you can add mozzarella. This is a cheddar. It's a smoked cheddar,
Ooh,
that I
a
found.
smoked cheddar.
which was actually the one on sale. So
there we go.
go for what's
Right.
cheapest.
Yeah.
Again, sometimes it's about finding that bargain. And I'm just going to mix it in just loosely like this. If I'm making a bigger batch, which I did for the final presentation, I'll do it in layers. So I'll do a little bit of pasta, some cheese, a little bit of pasta, and some cheese. So that way it's going to be different from a traditional mac and cheese in that it's not just that creaminess. You're going to have a little bit of that, like that melting whole
Ooh,
from the
nice.
cheese.
Which makes it really comforting.
Okay, so a little bit of that cheese.
Do you need the water?
No, thank you. Don't drink that water just in case. Yeah. All right, so a little bit of that cheese on there. And then this is, again, a little extra step, not necessary.
What's happening now?
I have some breadcrumbs here.
Wow.
Breadcrumbs you can top to make it a little extra crunchy and crispy, and it looks really nice. These little are incredibly handy, and I call them a really nice pantry staple because they have these sun-dried tomatoes, which are really tasty and delicious, and they look really pretty on top, but it's also packed in oil. You can use that oil, so you're almost getting 2 ingredients in one. So I don't need to use extra oil from something else. I can just use a little bit from the jar. And so because these are already diced, I'll just dump in a little bit of the sun-dried tomatoes with that sun-dried tomato oil.
And now we're getting some red.
Now we're
We've got the red and now we're getting
getting here. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I see in the bottom you put the pasta in it already. So
Yes.
It's dry or cooked already.
It's already cooked.
Oh.
I didn't show you that part
Okay.
because that would have been very boring.
Okay.
Show you
But
Like a
partially
pasta.
cooked, right? Like
partially
Par-
cooked. So you're
partially.
gonna cook it a little less than what it says on the package. Right?
Nice.
And then I'm adding those sun-dried tomato. So again, this is like a really quick and easy cheat to top like Brussels sprouts or salmon or mac and cheese like I'm doing here with just a little bit of like breadcrumb and sun-dried tomato from a jar.
what's happening?
That's a lot of bread.
It is. But I'm not wasting it. I'm spreading it around.
Sorry.
And
You do you.
you do.
I like the breadcrumbs.
And the color of the vegetables, if you remember, is a clue to the antioxidant that it contains. So here we have lycopene, we have some flavonoids from the spinach, and what's interesting is sometimes a little bit of processing helps the antioxidant be more available, and also mixing it with a little bit of oil also helps make it more available. So just something to ponder over the holidays. When you hear a lot about, avoid all processed foods, some processing is okay because it does make certain nutrients more available. But maybe, going to the extreme of like having, my example is always like a fruit roll up or you smell it? Yeah. Forget talking. Oh, let's look. Okay. Let's look. It looks
No,
awesome.
continue. I like the fruit roll up. I like that now.
The fruit roll up, yeah. So sometimes we talk about the apple and how the frozen apple, the applesauce, that's great. You're pushing it if you come to me and you said you had like gummy bears flavored like fruit, okay? That is just flavoring. There is no nutrition in there. So the more you process it, the less nutrition is in it, but a minimal processing is what you'll hear people say is fine. And also the canned peas that we, not canned peas, frozen peas, but we talked about using canned cannellini beans. That also is okay. You're getting a lot of protein from that. It's economical. And yes, there's some processing, but there are advantages to have that in your pantry. Back to this. Look at this. Magnificent.
Yeah, you can take a picture for sure.
Look at that.
This is after about 15 minutes in the oven. Okay? So about 15 minutes in the oven. You'll get to taste it after too. It tastes better than the picture. I trust
Tastes better than the picture? I don't know. The picture looks pretty good.
So
Right?
we're gonna do a scoop, and you can see like that cheese is melting
Oh my
in the
gosh.
layers there.
That looks awesome.
And this was a bit of a coarser breadcrumb that I had, but that bit of sun-dried tomato on top with that mac and cheese with that green sauce. The colors are nice. It smells really good. You're getting more flavor in here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, who's gonna try to make that? I am.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
So
So
I will bring that back up to us.
that is
That is awesome.
the first recipe.
Yay! Recipe 1 done. Okay. Yummers, I'll say. Okay, now we are moving on to recipe number 2. This is an orange sesame chicken. And replacing some of the meat. Was that Nikki? No, it wasn't you. It was
No more breadcrumb. Oh, I love that.
Replacing some of the meat in a dish with dried peas and beans is one way to maintain the protein in the dish, but also reduce the cost of the dish. And protein is very important. We know, we talked about it in recipe 1 for muscle building. It's important for healing after treatment. So it's important that if you're trying to cut back on meat, you still replace it with another food that has lots of protein, and dried peas and beans does that. Also using chicken thighs in this dish. So chicken breast generally costs more. Oh,
We're gonna have to talk through it.
talk through it?
Yeah.
Okay.
May I have your attention, please?
Really? But they want my attention.
You're testing fire alarms, so I don't.
Okay.
We're
We're gonna do
just
that.
go ahead.
Okay. So the chicken thighs are an excellent source of protein, generally cheaper in cost, so you can look for that. With the skin on, with the bone in. Does this have bone in or no?
It doesn't, but it did. And
Yeah.
I'll touch on
Yeah.
a little bit after too.
So that is also more economical, and Jeremy will talk a little bit more about that. And then we're using black beans, and that is adding plant protein, but it's also adding fiber, and it's also adding what we call phytonutrients, which are nutrients basically found in plants. It's just a fancy way of saying that. So you're getting the protein, but you're getting the benefit of the fiber and the phytonutrients as well. So in short, this meal is both affordable, nutritious, and will not break the bank when you add this to your list of meals for the holidays.
Absolutely. So, just for everyone here, it's fire alarm testing. Hopefully, it doesn't interrupt too much. They picked the perfect time for this. Oh no.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I can do
We're
that.
also, I understand we're competing with Sean Desmond today. He is in the hospital doing a concert. So.
Oh, really?
Again,
Oh, really? Don't
Yeah.
tell them.
Oh yeah. Don't leave. Close the door. Please close the door.
Just focus.
All right, so we're gonna start off. This is nothing. I'm gonna start off by saying this is nothing traditional to anything at all, other than some of my favorite flavors coming together. So definitely taking some inspiration from some of my favorite Asian dishes that feature sesame and orange and ginger together. I love that combination. And then we're also veering off from that and pulling from some other flavor influences as well. But important to this, to tie all these proteins together, we're going to use a really nice sort of sauce or glaze that's going to cook in. Okay, so we're starting off with a few tablespoons of honey. Depending on how much you make, I'm making a bigger tray here. I use 4 tablespoons of honey, which seems like a lot, but I'm using about like 8 to 10 chicken thighs or something a little bit bigger in a vessel of some sort. This is going to make it easy for me to mix. Even like a mason jar would be really convenient as well. And I'm going to add just like a couple tablespoons of warm water just to loosen it up. You can also microwave this if you want, just to warm it up a little bit. I don't need much, but to save myself from having to boil all the ingredients together first, and then it's going to cook again in the oven, I just need it to dissolve easily. So just a little bit of warm water, and that honey will soften up and stir really, really nicely. And then to this, we're going to add some other aromatics. So I have a big chunk of ginger here, some cloves of garlic. Here's also where you can use ground. You can definitely use ground spices. So ground garlic, ground ginger. Typically, you can go for about, they say like about half. If you're using ground spice, use about half for what it calls in fresh. But also go for your taste. Like if you like a little bit more ginger, a little more of that heat from the ginger, go for more for sure. I'm adding 2 big chunks of garlic here, using a rasp just to mince it, and then some ginger as well. Same rasp, and this really helps to grate it and make it nice and fine. Here. Okay. So I don't know if you can see that. There. Yeah, nice. So it minces it really, really nicely.
Not doing my job.
Slacking. Alright, so we have some of that ginger, some of that garlic in there. To make it a little bit more wintry, festive, I'm adding some allspice to this. You can add some clove too if you want.
See, now I'll bring it down.
Not too much, like half a teaspoon is good. And this you'll notice. Yeah, this you'll notice for sure.
Excuse me, what was that?
Allspice.
Allspice.
Yeah, ground allspice.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll pass them out later so you can smell it. You'll recognize it. It's very familiar sort of baking spice. And then you can either season it with salt and pepper or a little bit of soy as well. This will add that little bit of seasoning, that's salt. They don't need too much. And some nice color.
Really smell the ginger, which is nice and refreshing.
Yeah, one of those refreshing flavors, especially because we're cooking this for a longer amount of time. Chicken thighs, like Daniela mentioned, they're typically a more economical option, especially if they are bone in and skin on. These did come bone in because they were cheaper. They tend to be cheaper. The more prep that's done, so if you buy them boneless, skinless, they're going to be more expensive for the same product, right? But if you're not super comfortable deboning a chicken thigh, which can require a little bit of skill, you can absolutely cook this with the bone in. And I actually gave both instructions there. It takes just a little bit longer, but you'll even get even more flavor because you're cooking it with the bone in. So it's a more economical protein. What's going to taste even better, but it might take a little bit longer to cook, right?
And if you were to take the bones out, you would save those bones to make a broth or a stock.
Absolutely.
So that's the other benefit of
For
that
sure.
too.
So do what works best for you. If you don't have time to cook it with the bone in or remove the bones, just buy boneless. But if you want to save a few extra bucks, then definitely go for the bone in option. Adding the juice of an orange. I put it, I think, about like half a cup-ish. Again, we're making like a sauce glaze. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. All right. Juice of about half an orange. And stir that through. And that is it. So I have, sesames. The best part.
Orange sesame chicken.
About a quarter cup or so. And we'll stir that through. So we have this freshness. There's another ingredient on there. Some vinegar. You can add a little bit of vinegar, or I actually used the vinegar this morning and I ran out. I'm going to add some lime. Anything to add a little bit of acidity to this. Again, the orange is going to add some brightness. It doesn't really offer a ton of acidity. It's a little bit of acidity. You want something a little bit stronger. So either a little bit of vinegar, a little splash, a little bit of lime juice.
But I do like also, like the other benefit of the orange juice and the lime is the vitamin C. And if you've been following Jeremy and I, you know we like to talk about our food power couples. So when you're using a plant-based protein, like the black beans, it has iron in it, but it's not absorbed as easily by the body. So pairing it with some vitamin C or a food that has vitamin C helps you absorb almost double the iron from that plant food. So it's one of our favorite power couples. Food power couples. We won't talk about the other.
What's your favorite non-food power couple?
I know.
It's changed so much these days. All right. I'm going to bake it in this pan, cast iron pan. Again, whatever's easiest, rectangular baking dish, casserole dish, that will work as well. Same trick. I'm not doing all these dishes after. So, parchment.
And dollar store buy again.
Yeah, they have this one at the dollar store. There's a few different ones they have. This is my favorite one.
So yeah, so also knowing where you can save a few more dollars.
Absolutely. All right, so parchment, the trick under the water, scrunch it up, and then we're going to start off with the black beans. Again, a great way. I love the addition of plant-based protein. If you eat both proteins,
Yeah.
the combination of the two is just a great way to stretch it out a bit.
Or if you're not that familiar with plant proteins, it's a way to ease into a plant-forward way of eating too, if you have that mix.
Absolutely. That can was drained and rinsed, by the way, just in advance. To drain and rinse your canned beans. If you want to add some of the aromatics, you can put chopped peppers in here, whatever you like. I have a little bit of onion.
Was there a question? No. Okay. Just a sounds from the audience.
Sounds good. All right, chicken thighs. So we have the black beans, the base there. Then I'm going to go with these chicken thighs right on top. Again, you can do this with, if you're not a fan of the thigh part, you can definitely do this with chicken breast. You can do this with fish. You're just going to adjust the cooking time. With chicken, it's always best to use a thermometer. Make sure that in the thickest part, you're hitting that 165 degrees internal temperature. So you will have to adjust. The thighs will take a little bit longer than the breast, which will take a little bit longer than something like salmon or fish or something like that. Okay, so chicken on top, and then we're going to take...
Are you saying we could do this with salmon too?
Yeah,
That would
absolutely.
be nice too. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. It's something a little bit different. I just love the use of chicken thighs because it is a fairly economical animal-based protein.
Oh, there is a question.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
It's regarding the soy sauce.
Uh-huh.
Is it okay for, considering that, I heard that it's not good for estrogen.
Oh, for estrogen. Okay, so the question is the use of soy sauce and estrogen-positive cancer, breast cancer. So, first of all, soy sauce is probably not a factor to the. Okay, let's start at the beginning. So the phytoestrogen, the plant form of estrogen that is found in soy, does not.
1 second.
Yeah.
I'll let you continue.
Okay.
So pour the glaze on top and then into the oven. Okay. 400 degrees for about 25 minutes for boneless. And you're going to go to about 35 to 40 for bone in. Again, just with chicken, just make sure you have that food thermometer to make sure that you have the right doneness. Okay. So in the oven, back to you.
Okay. Back to me. So we were talking about soy and estrogen. So the plant form of estrogen that is found in tofu or soybeans, edamame, not so much in the soy sauce because that's a bit more processed. It doesn't act the same way as estrogen, the hormone estrogen. And this was researched quite a bit. And what they actually found is that having some soy in the diet, is going to help reduce cancer risk. And so it is safe to have. What you may want to be more careful with is supplements, concentrated forms of soy. But having it as a food is okay. I thought you were going to ask about soy sauce and salt and sodium and that. Soy sauce is really just a lot less of the phytoestrogen in there. And what I thought you were going to ask us about salt, so you can find lower salt options, reduced salt. It all depends on where you use salt in the dish. But getting back to the estrogen, does that answer your question? Okay. Long-winded way of answering the question.
It's okay that you use.
It's okay, yeah. Basically, the bottom line, it's okay to have it in the diet. As long as you're not allergic to it, it's okay.
I do that, but
Soy sauce, yeah.
Because it's processed.
Yeah, but it doesn't have, it's okay. It's okay, it doesn't have a lot.
Yeah. And for us,
And it's not a worry.
it's replacing the sodium, right? So that's one thing if you're concerned about. It obviously has sodium in it, but just like salt is sodium, right? So you can just adjust as you need to. So bake that chicken until it's done. I'm just cutting up a little bit of green onion very coarsely. Chickens are finished.
The chickens.
The chicken thighs are finished.
Oh, it looks so pretty.
Yeah, so you can see you're gonna get that little bit of that caramelization on top because of that honey and that sort of slow cooking there. And I don't know if you can smell the sesame.
Can you smell it? Not yet.
Is the
It's
sesame?
very pretty, isn't it? Yeah, it's hot.
It's hot. Yeah. Just grab a spoon.
Can I also ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah, in our Chinese culture, I think it is not right, but I need to double check. They always say, oh, we had, for the cancer patients, we cannot eat seafood or chicken, this kind of thing. It is a myth, right?
You can't eat.
For any type of cancer patients, they cannot eat the seafood anymore. It's not true, right?
So when it comes to the question is, if you have cancer, you can't eat seafood anymore. Seafood is fine. Where they may tell you to be careful is with shellfish and with sushi if your immune system is weak. So if your immune system is weak from the treatment you received, they may want you to avoid things like raw fish and shellfish. But other than that, from a cancer risk reduction perspective, it's still a good protein to have in the diet.
So that's it. The cooked seafood, including shellfish, is totally safe.
Cooked seafood, including shellfish, is totally safe. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Fantastic. Sorry, getting the
It's
question.
Okay.
And it's just a bunch of claps. Okay.
Oh, a bunch of claps.
We're good.
Okay, that's great.
We love that you're watching. Yeah, we're doing it too. We're doing it too. So here is the finished product with the chicken thighs, which have, again, and you can sort of glaze if you want. You can like pour some of that extra sauce halfway through over the top, and you're gonna get that really nice sort of crispy top, but also because of the honey, the little bit of honey, you're gonna get that little bit of caramelization. With the beans on the bottom, I think I like, and you could serve this with some extra grains and some rice and as a side, but because you have the beans, it almost acts as a nice starch accompaniment as well.
We didn't talk about it in recipe 1. Can you freeze this after making it, and also the mac and cheese? Can you freeze that?
Yes, you can freeze both. Absolutely, I love freezing into portions, and that way it's easier to warm up afterwards. But absolutely, and I think that's one nice tip as well. Even if you're cooking for 1 or cooking for 2, and you don't need like a serving that cooks 6 or 8. If you're putting that effort in anyways, it's not that much extra to just double up the portion. So make the larger batch and then freeze it after. And then that way you have those portions left for those days where you just don't have the energy or the time to make something from scratch. And you can warming up something like this, or that mac and cheese after. It would be a nice little treat, right?
Yeah. It would be a nice little snack too.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my gosh. We're on
Last
to recipe
recipe.
3. Okay. Yes. Yes, chef. So recipe 3, of course, it's the holiday season, so we're going to do a festive seed bar. And if you're seeking budget-friendly and delicious way to make homemade treats, this recipe is perfect for you. So by using wholesome ingredients like the seeds and the oats, you can create tasty snacks that are rich in protein, fiber, and healthy fats. And when you have all 3 of those, it can keep you full for longer. So you're not craving something to eat after 2 or 3 hours. It's a great little snack. If your appetite is poor, it's also a great little snack. But the cool thing about what Jeremy's doing today is that he's making it quite festive so that you can even consider it as a gift. So you can make some for yourself, and then you can make some to have as a gift to give to family and friends. So what's the saying? Sharing is caring. So maybe that's what we're doing here.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off. This is one of our favorite recipes. We teach the base of this recipe in a lot of the other classes that Zanima and I lead, and it is our granola. It's our granola base. we're going to make it a little more festive,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit extra, as they say sometimes, with one or two extra ingredients. But the base of it is very simple. In a bowl, throw some flaked oats. The oats are a great, easy whole grain that you can add to dishes, and any flaked oat will work. So if it's a large flake or the quick cook, those will work as long as it's a rolled oat. Throw it in a bowl. Any nuts and seeds that you want, throw it in a bowl. Nuts seem to have been
Price.
yeah,
Just
climbing
skyrocketing.
like gold these days. So maybe use like seeds. I find are still a little bit more economical, and it's a great choice. And there's still a lot of healthy fats in them. Come in. And we have sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds here. I had some chia seeds in the freezer that I wanted to use. Not chia seeds, hemp seeds.
Hemp seeds.
That I wanted to use, so I threw those in there. Threw those in there as well. Even during this time, you might have like those cans of mixed nuts or something, like half a can, or you can use whatever you want. Use up any nuts and seeds you like. Don't have to measure. I want about 2 cups of total ingredients in my bowl. Okay. To that, any flavor that you like, add it in. Adding some cinnamon, ground cinnamon in here. Going for that festive theme again. And then to sweeten it up a little bit, we're going to add maple syrup. Now, maple syrup is important here for a couple reasons. It's going to add that touch of sweetness, but it's also going to be our binding ingredient. I don't need too much. Like 2 tablespoons to 3 tablespoons will be enough for all these oats and nuts and seeds. I'm also not measuring, as you can see, and I encourage you not to measure it as well. Reason being is because this is an easy recipe that you can just do by eye. And what I'm looking for is as I pour that in, I'm stirring with my spoon, which should be the hardest part of this recipe, by the way.
I was waiting for you to say that.
So, as long as you can stir.
And you also say you don't have to elevate the dish.
Oh yeah, you don't have to lift it up.
That's just for us.
This is also, I think, being Italian, when I talk with my hands, if I have something in it, it just naturally just goes in the air. Yeah, you can just keep this on the cutting board. So after stirring for like 10 seconds, if it still looks a little dry, which I am kind of leaning on that dry side here, I'll add a little bit more.
So it's not glistening, right? You want it all to glisten.
You want it to be nice and shiny and glossy. Right? So if it looks a little dry, add a little bit more of that maple syrup. And then on the other end, if I looked at the bottom of the bowl and maple syrup was pooling down there, nothing pooling down there. But if maple syrup was pooling down there, we can adjust it by adding more oats or nuts and seeds and stir that through, right? So that's how you can sort of balance it out. I want it shiny and glossy, but not so much the maple syrup is pooling in the bottom, okay? So I'm happy with that. That's our base. And that is the hardest part of the recipe.
Is it okay if you use honey instead of?
You can use honey, but I find the texture, so with the maple syrup, the texture is going to be crunchy. Honey, it's going to be a little chewy. So a little bit more like a taffy, which it'll work. But just the texture is going to be a little bit different. Okay? Yes?
You can use the maple syrup in the chicken instead of the honey.
Oh, in the chicken recipe. Yeah, absolutely you can.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. What you want it, you just want it to sort of reduce a little bit in the oven. And if you're using, so the question is about the previous recipe, if you can use maple syrup instead of honey. In that recipe, I use a little bit of hot water to loosen up the honey. You do not have to do that with the maple syrup because it has a higher water content and it's already loose. Yeah. Okay, so flatten it out on a baking sheet, again with parchment. That's the word of the day.
Yeah.
Parchment and festive. Okay, parchment, and then into the oven, 350 degrees for about 15 to 18 minutes. I'm looking for color here. I want some golden brown. Okay, on this, that's when I know it's fully set. Maple syrup is a sugar. If I go too far, it's going to burn. Yeah. So, but if I don't go far enough, if I don't get that color, it's not going to set properly. Okay? So I want to make sure 50 to 18 minutes just until we get some color. And you will end up with something kind of like this. especially if you're bringing this over, like quadruple this batch. Make a big batch. That way you can save some for yourself and then you can share. It's always good to have some.
This is your 3 o'clock portion.
This is my portion. Yeah. So as it sits, what happens is that maple syrup will set, and you should get like the edges. It's fine, but you'll get like a nice sort of cluster with that maple syrup. It sort of holds everything together. Even if some of the edges break off, that's okay, because we're gonna do something fun with this after. So this on its own is fantastic. This is like a staple snack for most of our classes.
Most of our classes,
Yeah, we teach this recipe just because we love it so much. It's a really easy snack. It's got healthy fats.
Healthy
fiber.
fat, yeah, protein, fiber, and depending on what you use, it's always going to taste different, right? So you don't have to feel like, oh, it's the same snack, it's boring. It's because you're using whatever nuts or seeds you have and adding supplements to it.
Absolutely. Now to transform this a little bit, to make it more of like, oh, this is something I can bring over and wow everyone at the party, or wow myself with. Because
Yes.
that's sometimes what I would do. I'm gonna treat myself. We have our base. That's our granola base. Take some dark chocolate and melt it. You can do that over a pot in a double boiler, or you can do it in the microwave. If you're doing it in the microwave, break it up into like smaller intervals. So you saw I was running over there a few times, like 30 seconds at a time, just until it's fully melted, which we have here.
Nice.
And
when you're looking at dark chocolate, we're looking at 70% or more to get the benefits of the antioxidants in it.
yeah, so we have some of that dark chocolate. I don't need a ton, but just enough so that I could pour over
Pretty.
all of the bark here. And if it's messy, let it be messy. Messy is good.
It's arts and crafts.
Yeah.
Arts and crafts with food.
So cover as much as you can. And then you can kind of like gently spread it. It doesn't have to cover everything, but as long as the one I made this morning was much better. I'm just making a mess right now, but this is okay.
It still tastes great.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So get that melted chocolate on there, and then while it's still wet or still melted, any sort of accents that you want to throw in there, go for it. So I took the zest off of the oranges that I used in the other recipe, because I don't want that to go to waste.
Yeah.
So I just took it off, and we'll throw some of that zest on there. You can throw flaky salt on there. You can throw...
Can you throw cranberries?
Dried
Little bit of
cranberries. Yeah, you can
Would you put them
dried
whole, or would
fruits.
you kind of chop them up
You
a bit
can
more?
leave them whole. You can chop them up, whatever you want.
Maybe I'll make this too.
It's,
Maybe I'll make
it's
this too.
so nice.
Yeah.
And then you can either let it set at room temperature. It's going to take a little bit longer to fully set back into place, or pop it in the fridge. It's a lot quicker. Which we'll do. Absolutely have
Oh,
one
wow.
done.
Of course. Yes, we agree
Must.
with you. We agree with you.
So, and yeah,
Okay.
do the bigger batch.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here we
Oh,
have
yeah.
that bark, right? And again,
The camera's coming out
I'm
again.
gonna break off the corner here, but because that bark is already going to set because of the maple syrup, that dark chocolate is also going to help us to let it set as well. And then you can break it up into chunks. Just put it on like a nice little plate. Bring it over like this, super festive, but that crunch, that little bit of sweetness, that orange zest on there. But then, like you mentioned, healthy fats, protein.
Truly, yeah. Truly a no guilt
Yeah,
protein.
enjoy it.
And again, like if you have a small appetite, it's such a great snack to have. And sometimes you're overwhelmed by big portions.
I would bring this with me.
You're overwhelmed by big portions. That didn't fit with what I was saying. Then you can have small amounts.
You can have this.
That was
base.
the Jeremy portion,
That was my.
and that's the small portion.
Yeah, that's it. So, and again, you can have fun with it. If you want to bring the whole thing over in one piece, like this,
Which he wants to do.
which I want to, and then like smash it up there, you can do that too. Have fun with it.
It's also something fun to do with children, right? So if you want to bring them into the mix, it's an easy thing for them.
Or
to
adult
do.
children.
Adult children.
Yeah. I would love to do this. Keep me at the kids
How about
table.
smashing? This is a new thing about smashing. Smashing craft dessert.
That is our final recipe, our festive
Seed bark.
seed bark. Awesome. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Any questions?
Just more
More
claps.
claps. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone, here for joining us. This has probably been our most attended class
Yes,
of the year. So
yes.
thank you so much. It's special.
Yes.
Really appreciate it. And everyone watching virtually, thanks for
Thank
tuning in. Just a couple housekeeping things before we wrap. If you're watching online, the recipes will be posted on the website, elixirkitchen.ca, within the next couple of days or so. If you're here in person, you have the recipes in front of you. You also get to try the recipes today. We will be back in January.
The 15th. The 15th. So.
Third
Yeah.
Thursday, and a reminder, yes, we're here every third Thursday, Danielle and myself from 12 to 1. You can tune in online or come in person. No registration required. You can bring anyone you want. And happy Hanukkah.
Happy holidays.
If you celebrate Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas. Enjoy the
Happy New
holidays.
Year.
Happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2026.
Yeah. It's kind of holiday. He said happy. I don't know.
All the holidays.